Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and that's right, you read the title, and you know exactly what it is that I'm reviewing, and it seems fitting and necessary to review this, and seeing as how, well, this review of what it is that I'm reviewing is in dedication and in memory of the late, great, legendary, just great human being, Richard Simmons. Yeah. So that's right, guys. I am reviewing the short film starring Pauly Shore betraying Richard Simmons, The Court Jester. Yes, The Court Jester. Because, why not? I mean, it is a short film, and it's supposed to be a biopic short film, so yeah, why not? Why not review this? Not a problem. And honestly, I don't know, because maybe I did check and see. I might have seen this. I know I probably have seen, like, maybe one or two YouTubers who have reacted to The Court Jester, as have I, and I'm not sure, because maybe there have been some reviews. I don't see why not. I'll have to go back and look, because I think, yeah, because there's been reviews of The Court Jester, so I'm not the only one doing a review on The Court Jester. And speaking of reactions, because there have been a couple, including me, that have reacted to the short film itself. I did my reaction, and it came out just about 5 days until Richard Simmons himself sadly passed away. That's crazy and eerie, and what a coincidence. Not to mention, because he would die one day after his birthday. Like, is that not crazy or what? Like, jeez. And it is sad. It's sad that we've lost Richard Simmons, and again, because it's only fitting to finally review this short film on Richard Simmons and in memory of him. So yeah. So I gotta say, the first things I have to say about The Court Jester, and right before I read the description / the story, as I always do, I think The Court Jester was actually pretty good. A pretty well-done biopic short on Richard Simmons and how he helps out this this one guy working at the Ellen Show, cheering him up and, giving him courage and advice and guidance and so on. And, yeah, Pauly Shore's portrayal as Richard Simmons, I think, was spot on, because he definitely has a pretty close good likeness to portraying Richard Simmons, because you always gotta pick pretty good actors who closely resemble whom it is they're portraying in a biopic material. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, just overall, I think The Court Jester and what the Lewis brothers had to offer with this biopic short about Richard Simmons, and, yeah, because I don't think I really knew about this, because I think Richard Simmons having this company or something, because there's a card that he passes on right at the end of the short, and until I get to that says The Court Jester, like richardsimmons.com, The Court Jester, I'm your Court Jester, so yeah. Alright, so with that being said, and as always, read the description / the story. The Court Jester is an upfitting and heartwarming short film that blends humor, inspiration, and a touch of whimsy. At its core, the film is a tribute to the enduring legacy of fitness guru, if I'm saying that one word right, Richard Simmons, re-owned for his infectious, if I'm saying that right, energy and dedication to helping others. The narrative unfolds during a 2004 episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, where Richard makes an appearance. Amid the chaos and liveliness of the show's backstage, Richard encounters David, an overlooked and underappreciated segment producer, struggling with self-esteem issues. In a serendipitous twist, if I said that one word right, you know me sometimes, Richard sees beyond David's invisibility, offering his unique brand of honest, uplifting kindness. The film is a poetic exploration of self-acceptance, the power of visibility, and the transformative impact of kindness. Okay, so getting into the short film itself, yeah, because, with our cast of characters and what goes on, and again, as I read in the description / the story, because at the Ellen DeGeneres show, and this happened in 2004, this segment producer named David, played by Jesse Hyman, if I'm saying the last name right, an unappreciated segment producer, and the fact, according to him, he's been there for 7 years. Do the fingers. And just, yeah, because you can tell right away, and with some of the people working at the Ellen show and how they're treating him, just, yeah. And, like, honestly, do they not care if this dude has been working there for 7 years? And, because, to some of them, he looks like he's, like, new, and so on. But again, as he establishes, he's been working at the Ellen show for 7 years. Like, come on, people. And, because when we see David, because he's at, like, the food counter and such, and staring at a donut, and we get, like, this, like, chorus, donut. I don't know what that's about, but it's just there. It's one of those things. Basically David is given a copy of Richard Simmons's 59th DVD release, because Richard on the Ellen show promoting his new and 59th DVD release, and David unfortunately didn't get a chance to hand it to Richard, and because Ellen being portrayed by Tamara Brown. Yeah, I got the first name right. I don't think Tamara Brown was that bad portraying Ellen DeGeneres. I'm pretty sure she got the mannerisms of Ellen pretty good. And of course, Pauly Shore as Richard Simmons. And again, Pauly Shore as Richard Simmons, he does not disappoint. He's pretty good at portraying Richard Simmons. And again, David just desperately and just trying to hand it to Richard. Like, he's gonna do what he can to give it to Richard, and if Richard will notice, but then some of the crew from the assistant director and wrap-up comic and producer of the Ellen show, they notice that David is there on screen on the cameras, and they get him out of there, and then they start to realize and wonder that, well, Richard, he doesn't have the DVD copy of his 59th video / DVD release. And, well, they realize that David has it. That's technically on them because, well, they're the ones that pulled him out of there when David was trying to give, and hand Richard the DVD copy and such. But, at least Richard doesn't seem to have a problem in wondering why he doesn't have the DVD copy with him. And then he, having a couple of audience members from, of the Ellen show come up and alongside with Ellen doing some fitness and stuff like that. And then they go to commercial break, and, the assistant director, the assistant director being played by Benji Follow, if I'm saying that right, and to name the other cast members, there's the Ellen Show producer, being played by Ronan Arthur, and the Ellen Show wrap-up comic, being played by Austin Gelfman. Yeah, I think I got that right. And the other, cast members in the Court Jester short film, because, from the Ellen Show HMU artist, Ellen Show crew, Ellen Show audience, the audience members. So anyways, so I think, the assistant director, so when they go to commercial break, the assistant director turns to David and just, rudely just saying to him, I know you're new here, and if you want to keep going and such, stay out of people's ways. And, David once again telling him, but as the assistant director walks off, I've been here for 7 years, and, listen to him, will you? Does he, it looks like he's new here, but no, because he has been doing this for 7 years. Poor David. It's a shame. And, if I was there, because I would tell them, hey, he's been here for 7 years. Why don't you back off? Show him some respect, buddy. Just, Anyway, so David, once again, going back to the food court and such, and once again staring at the donut. donut? Because we once again get that singing. And then Richard pops up and asks David if he was going to eat that. And no, because he offers Richard to eat the last donut. And yeah, the last donut being rainbow sprinkled themed and such. And I think, yeah, it was, as Richard says, it was one of his favorites. And you know, then he starts to have a conversation with David. Like, both of them sit down on the floor, and, you know, he tells David that food was the only thing to Richard, you know, giving him peace or something like that, you know. And, you know, he even tells David that he did notice and saw that David was working hard and not to be noticed and such. And the advice that Richard gives to David, you know, like yourself, and is this donut fit enough, you know, for you being a king and such, and you're the effing king, because, you know, uses an F-bomb. Yeah, just great advice from Richard Simmons. And even though, because, yeah, Pauly Shore is playing Richard Simmons, still, because I think that's pretty much the same advice that even the Richard Simmons would say to someone. And, you know, just Richard assuring him, and, you know, because his weight, David's weight doesn't matter, okay? And again, as Richard says to David, like yourself. And that's what we all should be doing, is we need to like ourselves, because, like, I don't think that advice that Richard gave to David was not just for David, it's for all of us. You know, we just need to like ourselves. That's what's important. And it doesn't matter because, you know, whether some of us are skinny or overweight and such, you know, just take it from Richard. Take it from good old Richard Simmons. And, you know, and from what this short film had to offer, Pauly Shore portraying Richard Simmons. And, yeah, and that was a good moment between Richard Simmons and David, and, you know, obviously, because that made David feel a lot better. And Richard did say to David, if you disagree with me, then tell me, David, you know, you're and so. Just, yeah, it was pretty funny. Just what he said to David, if you know, to tell him if he was wrong and such, then it was funny. But no, like, you know, Richard, of course, was not wrong. So, yeah. And thus, you know, live live on the air in like 35 seconds or something, because, yeah, a voice calls out and Richard has to get back, you know, on stage with Ellen, and, you know, as he walks off, like, you know, like singing something of, you know, mama or whatever. And, you know, because Richard also mentioned to David, because a couple of other things, like crying over when Harry met Sally. Well, I were to assume probably the Richard Simmons, like, did cry over when Harry met Sally. I mean, you know what? Who wouldn't? Because When Harry Met Sally, that is, it's not just a funny film, but it does have really good emotion to it, and, you know, with the romance in the film and so on. Yeah, so who can blame them? Who can blame Richard and all of us crying over When Harry Met Sally? And when Richard walked off, because there was a card that I think he purposely, you know, dropped on the floor, and for David to pick up, because, yeah, a card, and as I mentioned, you know, richardsimmons.com, and, you know, I'm your court jester, yeah, so leaving that for David, and possibly, like, if David were to consider doing fitness and such under Richard Simmons, and that was a nice way to end the short film right there. And David, knowing that, you know, he's much better now, and after the advice and guidance that Richard gave to him. The Court Jester. Yeah, it was a pretty good biopic short film on Richard Simmons. The story, I think, was pretty good. The casting, and of course, most notably, Pauly Shore portraying Richard Simmons, spot on. You know, the emotion and a bit of funniness happening in the short film. I mean, especially from Richard. And the advice and guidance that Richard gives to David, the music in the short film, and, you know, how it was filmed, the camera lighting. Just, yeah, overall, The Court Jester, done by the Lewis brothers. It was pretty good. And it's on my mind. I'm giving it, yeah, why not? 8 out of 10 stars. Yes, 8 out of 10 stars for the Court Jester. And what about you guys? What do you think of the Court Jester short film itself, Pauly Shore as Richard Simmons? Do you think it's a pretty good, spot-on biopic short film done by the Lewis brothers and Pauly Shore portraying Richard Simmons? And for a lot of us, sad that, we've lost Richard Simmons, and, only fitting that we go back and watch this short film, and for me, because, me reviewing it, and so on, but overall, what did you think of the Court Jester short film itself, and for any of you who are Richard Simmons fans, and with what I've had to say on the short film itself, my review, and what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Court Jester short film, Pauly Shore as Richard Simmons. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And rest in peace, good old Richard Simmons. Take care, and peace out. Donut.